What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again, and lordy, Michael Jordy, do we have some trades to get into. First and foremost, so this video is going to be dedicated to DeAndre Hopkins getting moved from Houston to Arizona. Word on the street, not a great relationship between Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins. Do with that what you will. Bottom line is that Nuke is now in Arizona, and there is a lot to get into here. I think it's a fantastic move for the Cardinals. A lot of people were mocking them receivers as far as the draft goes. Anytime you can get a proven veteran like DeAndre Hopkins instead of going and taking a chance on a guy, no matter how much of a slam dunk you might think he is, always better to go with the vet. So really quickly, though, before I dive into this video, a quick thank you to Jackson Kruger Sports. If you haven't already, I would heavily advise subscribing to his channel. He puts out a ton of great content, as well as liking this video. Appreciate all your support. And if you haven't, if you like the content that I'm putting out there, also go ahead and check out the Hook Cam. That's my channel. Like and subscribe there for more content coming out. It's just going to get crazier, just going to get more wild the deeper we go down into free agency and the closer we get to the draft. So please go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and it would mean the world to both of us. Now, let's dive into this video. This is how I envision the Cardinals using DeAndre Hopkins, and I think it's kind of in line with how the Texans did it. DeAndre Hopkins is obviously fantastic at a number of things as a receiver. His route running is spectacular. His ability to create separation is next level, as well as his yards after the catch ability, and that's kind of the biggest thing I see. And especially with this first clip, this is a very simple just smoke screen to the number 2 receiver to the left side of the field. And you can just see his ability to make moves after the catch, right? He's able to catch this ball. First things first, he scoops it up off the ground. Not off the ground, but you know what I mean, low ball. But this play right here for a receiver is difficult because they see a lot of green right here. They have to be patient. They have to wait for their blockers to set up downfield, like we see here from the Texans. Excellent job with that. And then his ability to get upfield and make some yards after the catch is really next level. And I think that falls in line with a lot of what the Cardinals want to do with that Cliff Kingsbury offense. And like I said before, no, it's not a true air raid offense, but they still utilize that quick passing game a lot. And we can see here with the Texans, right, get the ball out quick. We have our numbers, get upfield, just like I said. Yards after the catch is phenomenal with DeAndre Hopkins, and I definitely see him fitting right in with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the other thing that the Cardinals will do a lot, and again, every NFL team does this, but it's a lot of pick plays, and it's a lot of, this isn't necessarily your true pick play, but at the same time, you're causing hesitation with our corner right here by stemming this cat upfield, and then we're going to work into the middle of the field with DeAndre Hopkins, and again, his ability to put a DB on skates, right? His route running, his ability to break routes at the top of it, next level stuff. And then, of course, his yards after the catch, like I mentioned in the previous clip, it's elite. And that's the thing, is it's not every day that you see a receiver with this talent get traded for so little. And that's why I think this trade is so confusing to me, because obviously the Texans gave up a top 3, arguably top 3 receiver in the league, and they really got nothing back. I mean, here's DeAndre Hopkins in one-on-one coverage, and you're a fool if you don't take this shot every time. Deshaun Watson isn't even looking off a safety. He's staring him down the entire time, and he just puts this thing out there where a spot where only he can get it. I mean, look at the separation that he created. DeAndre Hopkins created a tremendous amount of separation in this literally within a couple of steps. The other thing that DeAndre Hopkins can do very well is move with a quarterback, and I think this fits in really well to what they want to do in Arizona. Obviously, Kyler Murray is a very athletic and mobile quarterback, and something like this is something that you can just envision when you start looking at DeAndre Hopkins clips when he's playing with Deshaun Watson, right? Now, originally on this play, it's supposed to be a little pick play with a wheel from our running back. So we have Hopkins coming out here and running basically like a slant curl, and then our running back running a wheel here. Well, Colts do a really good job of rolling with that wheel and then cutting off Hopkins underneath, or excuse me, cutting off Hopkins as that receiver right here. He really does his job on this, but the best thing about it is that he floats with Deshaun Watson into the middle of the field and into open space. And stuff like that is really next level, especially when you start looking at Kyler Murray, his phone with the Cardinals, and what those two could really do together. Obviously, there's rules for every receiver in a scramble drill. When a quarterback breaks the pocket, one's going to go to the flat, the other one's going to come across the middle, almost like a flood concept, right? You have your flat threat, you have your middle of the field or intermediate, and then you got your deep threat. DeAndre Hopkins, though, just has a great ability to find the holes in the coverage, a lot like 16 here, but at the same time, you just think about the natural ability, right? 16 is not going to be as good as DeAndre Hopkins when it comes down to it at the end of the day. Now, he's doing the best he can with the throw given to him, and you definitely can't throw any shade at him for that, but, just the ability to have a DeAndre Hopkins is coming across the field, have him be able to find a hole in the coverage, get up and make some moves and get downfield, tying into that yards after the catch. That's the stuff that you definitely want as you're making that trade and as you're making that move for DeAndre Hopkins. Last but not least, this clip against the Bills from their divisional game, just his ability to make double moves, right? Coming off of a play action, stemming that out route for like a step and a half and then getting upfield. Deshaun Watson just putting it out there for a spot where only DeAndre Hopkins can get it, and him having the ability to go out and get that ball. Now, moving on to a little bit of what the Cardinals run and where I can see DeAndre Hopkins fitting in with him. They run a lot of stuff to attack the edges of a defense, and like we saw in that first clip with the Texans, this is where I see DeAndre Hopkins being very, very effective with the Cardinals. So now this is just a really quick route by Larry Fitzgerald. Essentially what you're getting with DeAndre Hopkins is a younger, better version of Larry Fitzgerald, and I think Larry Fitz was somewhat equal to DeAndre when he was at the height of his career, but this is just a really quick example of what I can see them doing with him. Just a really quick rolling into a speed out, Kyler getting that ball out quick and letting DeAndre Hopkins do the work with the rest of it. Now, Larry Fitzgerald's obviously still, in my opinion, a very capable receiver, but anytime you can get younger and upgrade at that position, you're going to want to do that. Now, a quick example of just a quick play action and then a shot play really from the Cardinals, max protect, and anytime you can get DeAndre Hopkins one-on-one, you want to take those chances. In this situation, it's Christian Kirk. Just imagine what it can be like with a guy like DeAndre Hopkins who can really take the top off of a defense. Now, the other thing that I just get really fired up about, and this is just me as an offensive mind, what Cliff Kingsbury is going to be able to do with DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a ton of fun. Now, this is a really simple just RPO, but once again, we got one-on-one over here, really two-on-one with Larry Fitzgerald and our number one receiver at the top being able to block. And you just get fired up for what they're going to be able to do with a guy like DeAndre Hopkins and his natural ability once he gets the ball in his hands and in Arizona. I think it's going to be a ton of fun, and I'm really excited to watch it. Here's just another example of what I think the Cardinals are going to do with DeAndre Hopkins. And again, it's all about numbers and working the better edge of the defense for your guys. Really simple, just smoke screen to Larry Fitzgerald here, but it's all about getting dudes in front. And again, what can this be with a guy like DeAndre Hopkins and his ability with his yards after the catch? And also just pairing him with a guy like Larry Fitzgerald is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And, watching the Cardinals offense again, what's interesting to me about them is that they don't really take their deep shot unless they really, really have to, unless they have the favorable coverage, unless they have the one-on-one. That's kind of Cliff Kingsbury's whole thing, is that he wants Kyler to really have a great processor about him to go through his reads and to make the right decision, right? If he's got one-on-one coverage against cover one, yeah, he's going to take it. But look at this. This is back-to-back completions from Kyler Murray, and they're both smoke screens, right? This is both stuff that's either been called or checked out the line. I would assume it's been called because we got tackles and guards moving out to the side like a screen. But again, it's all about just taking advantage of edges and Kyler going through a process. And I think that when you add a staple like DeAndre Hopkins, it's just going to make Kyler that much better, and it's going to make this offense that much more potent. That's kind of why I'm so excited to see what's going to happen with it, because you add the element of a big play receiver into an offense that doesn't necessarily rely on that big play. This is an offense that's all about dink and dunk, taking what the defense gives you and working numbers. I'm really excited to see where this offense goes from here. I'm really excited to see how Kyler matures and how he progresses as a quarterback, and to see what the production is like from DeAndre Hopkins' perspective as this season rolls around. And then last but not least, this quick little screen to the number one receiver at the top, which is Larry Fitzgerald as well. Every team runs this. That's why you can find a play that looks almost exactly like it. His ability to get the yards after the catch and get close to that goal line, something that's very special that I could see DeAndre Hopkins doing and being very, very successful with as he moves on to the Cardinals. Now, as far as the Bill O'Brien thing goes, I'm shocked just like everybody that he made this trade. I understand it because I have heard that there were some tensions in the locker room, and obviously you never want that. And, it's a business. And as soon as money starts getting involved, tempers are going to flare, especially if guys think that they're being mishandled. So it's a weird situation. I don't think we know all the facts, so it's not really fair to just go and judge Bill O'Brien. As much as I agree with everybody that it was a horrible trade, you're getting David Johnson and a second rounder for a top 3 receiver in the NFL that you're sending away. So a head scratcher nonetheless, but still, I understand that there's a lot of things that go into a situation like this. So with all that being said, guys, I'll be back with some more free agent news later. Hope you guys are having a good day, staying safe. If you haven't already, subscribe to Jackson Kruger Sports and also subscribe to my channel, The Hook Cam, and I will see you next time.